Book 2. A Dangerous Journey. The early dawn was born. Her fingers bloomed. Odysseus' well-beloved son jumped up, put on his clothes, and strapped a sword across his back, and tied his handsome sandals onto his well-oiled feet. He left the room looking just like a god. He quickly told the clear-voiced heralds they must call the Greeks to council. Soon the men, their long hair flowing, were gathered all in the square. Telemachus arrived, bronze sword in hand, not by himself. 2 shift dogs came with him. Athena poured a heavenly grace upon him. The elders let him join them, and sat upon his father's throne. The first to speak was wise Agrippus, a bent old soldier. His darling son, the spearman Antiphus, had sailed up with Lord Odysseus to Troy. The Cyclops killed him in his cave and made him his final course at dinner. This old father had 3 sons left. One teamed up with the suitors, Eurynormus. The other spent their time working on the farm, but still the father mourned the son who he had lost. He spoke in tears. "People of Ithaca, now hear my words. We have not met in council since the day Odysseus departed with his ships. Who called us? Someone old or young? And why? Has he found out an army is approaching? Or does he have some other piece of news which he would like to share with all of us? I think he is a helpful, decent man. I hope that Zeus rewards his good intentions." Odysseus' loving son felt glad and eagerly got up to speak and stood among them. In the center of the group, the competent official named Pisanor passed him the speaking stick. He held it up and first addressed Agrippus. "Here, sir. Now look no further for the man you seek. I call this meeting. I am in deep trouble. I have no information of an army that might attack us, nor do I have news of any other danger of our people. I need help for myself. My family has suffered 2 disasters. First, I lost my father, who was kind to you as if you were also his sons. Now, even worse, my house is being ripped apart. My wealth will soon be gone. The sons of all the nobles have shoved inside my house to court my mother against her wishes. They should go and ask Icarus, her father, to provide a dowry and choose who should be her husband. They are too scared. Instead, they haunt our house day after day and kill our cows and pigs and good fat goats. They feast and drink red wine, not caring if they waste it all. There is no man to save the house, no man like him, Odysseus. I cannot fight against them. I would be useless. I have no training. But if I had the power, I would do it. It is unbearable what they have done. They ruined my whole house. It is not fair. The suitors all should feel ashamed. Consider what others in the neighborhood would think, and also be afraid. The angry gods will turn on you in rage. They will be shocked at all the criminal behavior. I beg you, by Olympian Zeus, and by the goddess who presides in human meetings, justice. But never mind, friends. Leave me be, and let me cry and suffer by myself. Or did Odysseus, my warlike father, deliberately do harm to our own side? Is that why you set on hurting me, encouraging these suitors? Oh, if only you Ithacans would eat my stock yourselves. If you did that, I would soon get revenge. I would come through the town and keep demanding until I got given back. But now you make me so unhappy. This is pointless." He stopped, frustrated, flung the her down and burst out crying. Everyone was seized by pity. No one spoke. They hesitated to answer him unkindly. Then, at last, Antonius began. "Telemachus, you stuck-up, witful little boy, how dare you try to embarrass us and put the blame on us? We suitors have not done you wrong. Go blame your precious mother. She is cunning. It is the 3rd year, soon it will be 4, that she has cheated us of what we want. She offers hope to all, sends notes to each, but all the while in her mind moves somewhere else. She came up with a special trick. She fixed the mighty loom inside her palace hall. Weaving her fine cloths, she said to us, 'Young man, you are my suitor. Since my husband, the brave Odysseus, is dead, I know you want to marry me. You must be patient. I have worked hard to weave this winding sheet to bury good Laertes when he dies. He gains such wealth, the woman would reproach me if he were buried with no shroud. Please let me finish it.' And her words made sense to us. So every day she wove the mighty cloth, and at night by torchlight she unwove it. For 3 years long her trick beguiled the Greeks, but when the 4th year's seasons rolled around, a woman slave knew the truth and told us. We caught her, unraveling the cloth, and made her finish it. This is our answer, so you and all the Greeks may understand. Dismiss your mother, and let her father tell her to marry anyone his heart desires." Athena blessed her with intelligence, great artistry, and skills, a finer mind than anyone else has had before. Even braided girls of ancient Greece, Tyro, alchemy, garlanded Mycene, none of them had Penelope's understanding. But if she wants to go on hurting us, her plans are contrary to destiny. We suitors will keep eating up your wealth and livelihood as long as she pursues this plan the gods have put inside her heart. For it may be glory, but for you, pure loss. We will not go back to our farms or anywhere until she picks a husband." Telemachus insisted, breathing hard. "Antonius, I cannot force my mother out of the house. She gave birth and raised me. My father is elsewhere, alive or dead. If I insist my mother has to leave, Icarus will make me pay the price, and the gods will send me more trouble. If she goes, mother will rouse up furies full of hate to take revenge, and everyone will curse me. I will not. If you feel upset, go out of my house. Stop eating all my food. Devour each other's property, not mine. Or do you really think it's right to waste one person's means alive and go scot-free? Then try it. I will call the deathless gods. May Zeus give recompense someday for this. You will die here, and nobody will care." Then Zeus, whose voice resounds around the world, sent down 2 eagles from the mountain peak. At first they hovered on the breath of wind, close by each other, balanced on their wings. Reaching the noisy middle of the crowd, they wheeled and whirred, and flapping their mighty wings, swooping at each man's heads with eyes like death, and with their talons they ripped each face and neck. Then to the right they flew, across the town. Everyone was astonished by the sight. They wondered in their hearts what this could mean. Old Halterius, son of Mastor, spoke. More than the elders, this old leader, excellent at prophecy and knew the birds, he gave them good advice. "Now, Ithacans, listen. I speak especially for the suitors. Disaster rolls their way. Odysseus will not be absent from his friends for long. Already he is near, and sows the seeds of death for all of them, and more disaster for many others in bright Ithaca. We have to form a plan to make them stop. That would be best for them as well by far. I am experienced at prophecy. My words came true for him, the mastermind Odysseus. I told him when he left for Troy that all the Argives he would suffer most terribly, and all his men would die. But in the 20th year he would come home unrecognized. Now it is coming true. Eurymachus, son of Polybus, replied, "Old man, be off. Go home and spell your portents to your children, or it will be worse for them. But I can read these omens better than you can. Many birds go flying in sunlight, and not all of them are meaningful. Odysseus is dead, away from home. I wish that you had died with him, to stop your forecasts. You are making this boy angry, hoping that he will give your household gifts. But let me tell you this, which will come true. You may know any ancient forms of wisdom, but if you tease this boy and make him angry, he will be hurt and never get to act on any of these prophecies of yours. And old man, we will make you pay so much, your heart will break, your pain will cut so deep. I will advise Telemachus myself, in front of everyone, to send his mother back to our father's family, to fix her wedding, and the gifts a well-loved daughter should have. Unless he does that, he will never cease from this torturous courtship. We are not afraid of anyone, much less this boy with long speeches, nor your pointless portents. They will come to pass, and they will make you hated. His house will be devoured, and payback will never come, as long as she frustrates our hopes of marriage. Meanwhile, we will wait and daily hope, competing for the prize, not seeking other women as our wives." Telemachus, his mind made up, replied, "All right, Eurymachus, and all of you, I will not talk about this anymore. The gods and all of you already know. Just let me have a ship and 20 men to make the journey with me, out and back, to Sparta, to sandy Pylos, seeking news about when my father may come home. I may hear it from somebody, or from a voice from Zeus. It often happens so. If I find out my father is alive and coming home, I will endure this pain for 1 more year. But if I hear that he is dead, I will come back to my own land and build a tomb, and hold the funeral rites as he deserves, and I will give my mother to a new husband." He sat down, and up stood Mentor. When Odysseus sailed off, this was the front he asked to guard his house, and told the slaves to look to him as master. Mentor addressed the crowd. "Now, Ithacans, listen. This changes everything. Now, kings should never try to judge with righteousness or rule their people gently. Kings should always be cruel, since the people whom he ruled as kindly as a father have forgotten their king Odysseus. I do not blame the suitors' overconfidence, rough ways, and violence in eating up his household. They risk their lives, supporting that the master will come back home. But I do blame you, sitting passive, never speaking against them, though you far outnumber them." Leocritus, in your son, replied, "Mentor, for shame. You must have lost your mind, fool, telling us to stop banqueting. You cannot fight us. We outnumber you. Even if Ithacan Odysseus came back and found us feasting at his house and tried to drive us out, his wife would get no joy in his return, no matter how she misses him. If he tried fighting solo against us, he would die a cruel death. So what you said was nonsense. Anyway, we must disperse, and everyone get busy. Mentor and Halitrius, since you are old comrades of his father, you can gild Telemachus's journey. I suspect he will not manage to go anywhere. He will just wait in Ithaca for news." The crowd broke up. Ithacans went home, the suitors to Odysseus' house. Telemachus slept out at the beach. He dipped his hands in the salty gray sea water and asked Athena, "Goddess, hear my prayer. Just yesterday you came and ordered me to sail the hazy sea to find out news of my long-absent father's journey home. The Greeks are wasting everything, especially these bullying, mean suitors." Then Athena came near him with the voice and guise of mentor, and spoke to him in words that flew out like birds. "Telemachus, you will be brave and thoughtful. If your own father's forcefulness runs through you, how capable he was in word and deed. Your journey will succeed if you are his. If you're not his son by Penelope, I doubt you can achieve what you desire. And it is rare for sons to be like fathers. Only a few are better, most are worse. But you will be no coward and no fool. You do possess your father's cunning mind, so there is hope you will do all these things. Forget about those foolish suitors' plans. They have no brains and no morality. They do not know Black Doom will kill them all, and some day soon their death is near at hand. You will achieve the journey that you seek, since I will go with you, just like your father. I will equip a good, swift ship for you. Now go back home where the suitors are and get provisions. Pack them in containers, some wine in jars, and grain, and the strength of men and sturdy skins, and I will go through town calling for volunteers to come with us. There are a lot of ships in Ithaca, both new and old. I will select the best one, and we will equip her quickly and set sail fast, far across the sea." So spoke the goddess, daughter of Zeus. Telemachus obeyed. His heart was troubled as he went home. He found the arrogant suitors in the hall, skinning some goats and shearing hogs for dinner. Antonius began to laugh. He called him and seized his hand and spoke these words to him. "Telemachus, you are being so pigeon-headed. Why not put all your troubles from your heart? Come eat and drink with me, just before. You know the Greeks will fix it for you. They will select a ship and crew, and soon you will reach Pylos, where you hope to hear word of your father." But the boy was weary, and said, "Antonius, I cannot eat. I have no peace or joy when I am with you selfish suitors. It is not enough that you destroyed my rich inheritance when I was just a little boy. But now I have grown bigger, and I got advice from other people, and my heart wells up with courage. I will try to bring down doom on your heads as here at home when I go to Pylos. Yes, I really will go there as a passenger, although I do not own a ship or have a crew because of you." He snatched his hand away, but as they feasted, the suitors started mocking him and jeering with sneers. They said, "Oh no, Telemachus is going to kill us. He will bring supporters from Pylos or from Sparta. He is quite determined. Or indeed he may be fetching some lethal poisons from the fertile fields of Ephyra to mix up in our wine bowl and kill us all." Another proud young man said, "Well, who knows? Perhaps he will get lost in the curved ship and die so far away from all his family, just like his father. And what a pity that would be for us. Then we would have to share all his wealth and give away the house itself to her, his mother, and the man who marries her." The boy went downstairs to his father's storeroom, wide and high-roofed, piled high with gold and bronze and clothes and chests and fragrant olive oil. Down there the jars of vintage wine were stored, which he held the sweet, unmixed, and godlike drink, lined in a row against the wall, in case weary Odysseus came home at last. The double doors were locked and closely fitted. Oh, a woman checked the contents night and day, guarding it all with great intelligence, and that was Eurylochus, child of Ops. He called her to the chamber and addressed her. Nanny, please pour sweet wine into jugs for me, the second best one, not the one you keep for when the poor unlucky king escapes from evil fate and death and comes back home. Fill up 12 jugs with wine for me, and pour me some 20 pounds of fine milled barley groats, all packed in sturdy leather bags. Load up these provisions secretly at nightfall. I will come here and get them when my mother has gone upstairs to go to sleep. I am leaving for Sparta and for sandy Pylos to learn about my father's journey home. At that, his loving nurse began to wail and sob. Sweet child, what gave you this idea? Why do you want to go so far? You are only a child, and dearly loved. The king Odysseus is gone, lost, far from home, and they will pilot against you when they leave, scheming to murder you and share this wealth. Stay with us, we who love you. Do not go searching for danger out on restless seas. Telemachus deceptively replied, Nanny, you need not to worry. Gods have blessed this plan, but promise me you will not tell Mother until she notices me gone. Say nothing for 12 days, so she will not start crying. It would spoil her pretty skin. At that, the old nurses swore a mighty oath, by all the gods, that she would keep the secret. And then she drew out the wine for him in jars, and poured the barley groats in well-stitched bags. Telemachus returned to see the suitors. Meanwhile, bright-eyed Athena had a plan. Resembling Telemachus, she went all throughout the city, standing by each man and urged them to assemble by the ship at night, and asked the son of Phrymus, Noman, for a speedy ship. He promised to give it gladly. Then the sun went down and all the streets grew dark. The goddess dragged the ship into the water, and she loaded the necessary tackle for the journey. Right at the beach's farthest end, the goddess stood and assembled good strong men as crew. She coached each one. Then, eyes ablaze with plans, she went back to Odysseus's house and poured sweet sleep upon the drunken suitors. She struck them, and their cups fell from their hands. Disguised as Mentor, both in looks and voice, she called the boy from the mighty hall and looked intently at his face and said, Telemachus, your crew of armored men is ready at the oar for your departure. Come on, no time to waste. We must be gone. So speaking, Pallas quickly led the boy. He followed in the footsteps of the goddess. They went down to the seashore and the ship, and found the long-haired sailors at the beach, inspired and confident. Telemachus called out, My friends, come on, let us go fetch the rated rations. They are ready in the hall, but quietly. My mother does not know, nor do the other women, except one. And so he led them, and they followed him. They loaded everything on the docks. Odysseus' son instructed them, and embarked. Athena led the way. She sat down in the stern, and next to her Telemachus was sitting. The crew released the ropes and boarded, each at oar. Athena called a favorable wind, pure zephyr whistling on wide and dark sea. Telemachus commanded his companions to seize the rigging, so they did, and raised the pine wood mast inside the rounded block, and bound it down with forestays round about, and raised the bright white sails with leather ropes. Wind blew the middle sail. The purple wave was splashing loudly round the moving Nile. The goddess rose the waves and smoothed the way. The quick black ship held steady, so they fastened the tackle down and filled their cups with wine. They poured libations to the deathless god, especially to the bright-eyed child of Zeus. All through the night till dawn